So the newer buildings did fairly well during the storm, but the buildings that we've been nursing along and putting Band-Aids on over the last 50 years, decade to decade, were the ones that took the brunt of the damage. We are mission capable of deploying our forces and training the forces to do our nation's business overseas, but you'll see that it's more costly in dollars, it's more costly in time, and the physical and emotional energy it takes from our service members to do their job is significantly more than it was prior to the storm. So we were still able to deploy forces even in the immediate aftermath of Hurricane Florence. But the training areas, in particular Onslow Beach, where we conduct amphibious training and deploy forces onto ships with the Navy for employment overseas, were severely impacted. The beach erosion that we had anticipated to take about 40 years was accelerated to about 15 years. The amount of usable beach has been significantly reduced, and so that's affected our ability to conduct amphibious training and operations. A couple of the railroad trestles were destroyed, from which we deploy forces by rail, either to locations in the continental United States or to ports of embarkation to deploy overseas. And then a number of our ranges and training areas were affected. Nearly all of our service members were impacted by the storm. I think what you'll see today is, many of them are working in buildings that have largely been gutted. They're working in skeletal infrastructure and just doing their best, but it takes a lot more energy and effort to accomplish just day-to-day tasks than it did before the storm. And then others were more directly impacted. Base housing has been my top priority since I got here. There were about 4,000 houses here in our Eastern North Carolina installations that were damaged as a result of the storm. And so a number of our service members were displaced or will be displaced in the future as their homes are repaired over time.
See the sheet right behind you. Eventually all that got wet. There's insulation on top of that, so all that stuff was wet and it's falling down into the building, right? We've dried it out. This is what we call a drought. We've gotten rid of all of it so they can function in the building.